Alright, we are back, and we're going to see a ZVZ. This time is going to be Heartland Hitman's Imperative against Glitch, or Blue Zerg. I really need to... You saw nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this was touted as, quote, crazy ZVZ, in all caps even. Is actually between diamonds. And ZVZ, I think, is... It's a matchup I like to watch in small doses, especially now in Heart of the Swarm. It is not a matchup I like to play, so I'm always curious to see how people actually can play this out. And from the looks of it, we're not going to have any sort of early pool shenanigans. It's more a question of hatch first or pool first. Each of those with advantages and disadvantages. Hatch first a little riskier, better in the long run if you can actually hold off any early aggression. And at this point, hatch first is actually preferable. Because a pool this late, you cannot punish an early hatch. And nope, that drone wants to scout, does not want to throw down a hatchery. But there's this weird dynamic in ZVZ where if you go very early pool, you can punish an early hatch. If you go for a middle ground pool, you can punish an earlier pool, because you're going to have much more economy. And we are going to have hatch first out of Imperative, and a pool first out of Glitch. But anyway, a hatch first will actually punish a middle-ish pool, as we're seeing here. And the reason for that is you have more production and theoretically more economy up earlier. And your pool is still in time to hold off any sort of Zerglings that your opponent is going to make. It's not a huge difference, especially in the lower leagues. Diamond, I think it's definitely going to start to matter. And again, for reference sake, I am Platinum. Platinum random for style points. So this is me learning, along with anyone else watching this video that somehow learns things. Hi, Crystal. Alright. We have gas going down for both players. Next question is, are they going to go for speed? And if so, are they going to keep mining gas afterwards? That's usually a pretty big tell of what a player wants to do. Early Baneling Nest is pretty common in this matchup. Stops the Super Ling all-in. That's what always tends to get me. Pretty maddening. So you can see Imperative's hatch is up. He's going to get it mining. That's extra saturation. Just extra income. All sorts of good things. Extra larva, which he's putting to good use. Another queen, which is definitely important. Do you have a Baneling Nest out of Imperative? I think that's more defensive at this point, because he has not really invested in that many lings. But it will stop a huge swell of lings dead in its tracks, unless you're fighting a Korean, in which case you're just screwed. Baneling Nest from Glitch as well. I think for the same reason, because again, neither player has really invested very much in lings. We have 4 lings. There's his entire army for Imperative. We have no lings at all from Glitch. Glitch is actually leading the drone count, which is kind of interesting. Does have a few lings coming out now, and is looking to produce some lings. Imperative still going for the drones, and some more gas. Mouse, stay with me. Thank you. Imperative not researching speed, but stockpiling a fair amount of gas, whereas Glitch does have speed, so he can be a little more aggressive with his lings. Also great for scouting, though in ZVZ you generally have overlords all over the place, seeing everything anyway. And there's that one Baneling, just shuts down. Well, that was, to be completely fair, that was really not any sort of frightening amount of Zerglings. But if it was, that Baneling would have done quite well, and you can see he replaced it pretty much immediately. Definitely the smart thing to do. If we look at income, Imperative is now taking the drone lead, which is another weird dynamic of ZVZ, in that things can go very right or very wrong very quickly. You can either over-drone, in which case you have no units. You can over-make units, and your opponent holds it off, and you're just suddenly screwed on drones because your opponent is Zerg and makes 10 of them at a time. But you're Zerg, so you can make 10 at a time. It's a very strange matchup, very much a knife's edge in a lot of cases. Though in this case, we are seeing exactly the same amount of harvesters. Finally that speed coming down for Imperative, but he hasn't really needed it until now. Baneling's coming in. Oh, okay. That, did I miss that? I missed that. Whoops. We're going back. We're going back. Oh, yes, we are going back. Oh, they are... that... yes. More Banelings coming in. Imperative is not watching this. All these drones going down. This is not good for Imperative. Okay. Does see that at the last second, but that... really nothing I can say about that. That was just painful. Fortunately, as we have mentioned, he is Zerg, so drones can be remade. But the thing is, there was no real follow-up attack to that. And again, going back to the ZVZ dynamic, you either make drones or you're making units. So if you kill a lot of drones, they have to remake those drones in order to actually really get back into the game. Either that or they're going to do a huge counterattack. Either way, if you attack them and they make units, then you are actually in pretty good shape, even if you just trade, just because you're keeping them from making more drones and replenishing their economy. So after that big Baneling hit, I really think it would have been better to actually follow that up with a Ling attack. I don't know if just spamming more Banelings would be a good idea, but just that. A Baneling for 2 Lings. Anyway, just following that up with some sort of pressure on attack, make him keep making units. You have so many more drones, you have the economy lead, and all that pressure is just going to keep you in that lead. But as it stands, Imperative has actually gotten back into this pretty well. About even on drones. And Imperative has not actually gone and done any damage himself, which is going to be interesting now that there are 10 Mutalisks on the way for Glitch. And where's he sending these over here? I assume his drone got taken out for making his third. So Mutalisks are the kind of the new standard, as far as I'm aware, for ZVZ. And it looks like we're going to have Imperative making his own, hopefully shortly. He does have quite a bit of money banked up. Not sure what he's waiting for on that. But Mutalisks have been really the kind of the new standard, because Fungal has been nerfed very heavily, in the sense that anything that moves fast is going to be able to actively avoid it, now that it's a projectile. And there is no defense in this base for mutas. There is a queen. Spore crawlers are fantastic against mutas. Unfortunately, there are absolutely zero. There are mutas coming out for Imperative, though. We can see if there's going to be enough. You really don't want to engage. Oh, that was not going to happen. You do not want to engage that. Smaller amounts of mutas, again, things just landslide real quick in ZVZ. He needs to get to a queen or a spore crawler or something to help out these mutas. Does get a transfuse off, but really it's the muta count that's going to save him here. And he might be able to drive this off now. Maybe. He is going to drive that off. We have a counterattack coming down from Imperative here, but Banelings! Oh! That is the power of Banelings in ZVZ. So Mutiling Bane is quite the matchup now. We have a counter attack coming in from Glitch, see if he can get anything done. There should be some banelings. No, there are no banelings. No banelings to defend against all these zerglings. That, I think, is definitely a mistake. Does have mutas to help pick off the banelings. But all these lings on their own, if you do not have banelings, you... Ah, drones fighting, never a good sign. Now through this all, neither player has actually managed to take a third base. And that is going to be the point of contention very shortly. Also, Glitch has quite a bit of money stockpiled up. Would love to see a Okay, I swear I was not actually looking at the production tab. He does have a macro hatch on the way. Also has his third on the way. Should be able to hold that. Muta counts are actually even now. Neither side making more. At this point, it's very gas limited. The Imperative has been spending a lot more minerals on really trying to rebuild his economy. Whereas Glitch, if he had 2,500 minerals worth of Zerglings right now, against 0 Banelings, or even a couple Banelings and just microing carefully, he could have done so much damage against that. Imperative now trying to take his third. Glitch slightly ahead on that, but shouldn't be a huge deal. Playing War is always fun. Imperative positioning these mutalisks, he wants to get into that main base. And he's going to do it as he's attacking the third. Does cancel the third, mutalisks moving in. Trying to distract and now get some damage in. We'll see what they can actually kill. Meanwhile, a counter. Oh, there's the Baneling hits. That is what he needed in that prior attack. These mutas are doing a surprising amount of damage. Finally getting his own mutas back in, and he should be more than fine. This is actually going to be very painful Imperative if he does not get out right now. Imperative's third base is now up, but is not mining yet. If he can hold on to that base, he'll be in a great spot. Look at Glitch's money is way up there, near 4K. That's about 160 Zerglings, if he had actually been producing. So just like 160 Zerglings rampaging through this base, you need more Banelings than that. Not many, but, you know, like 3. Trying for the counter attack. Does take out the meager Ling force, and now a lot of Zerglings going to the mineral line. This is very, very painful. At the same time, there's a Muta War going on. Is that amount of mutas going to beat that amount of mutas? The answer is maybe. Meanwhile, the Zerglings have actually cleared out that mineral line. And the mutas have cleared out the opposing mutas. Eventually this does get cleaned up, but all those Zerglings. That is most likely going to take out this third. This third has no Banelings, nothing there to defend it. Some ambitious Banelings. It's a good try, but that was not going to actually happen. He is going to be able to take out the Lings trying to attack the natural, but the third is going to go down. I'm actually surprised he's not reproducing some drones. Both drone counts have been significantly lowered. Mutas try and save the third. They are not successful. So back to 2 base against 2 base. The natural did survive. The mineral line was not so lucky. Getting a transfer now that the main is mined out. Glitch not happy with how this is going. And Imperative agrees. Mutalisk taking out the Spire. That could be huge. No more mutas. The thing with ZVZ and mutas, especially now, that there's no real mass muta counter, as infestors have been severely nerfed in that regard. A huge swell of mutas is just so hard to deal with, and if you're trying to go muta against muta, and you get behind on the muta count, you are going to have a very bad time. So Spire is down. Lair's still intact, but if this is his only mining base. Weirdly enough, Imperative still has his main mining. That's not necessarily a good thing. A few more ambitious lings try and get past. A lot more ambitious lings are coming in, but there's a Baneling. Baneling does not get a good hit off. Actually, there's a ling that came in from the backside that seemed to detonate it. He should be just fine, though. With the Spine Crawler and the Queen. Yep. Barely cleans that out with that. We're just going to follow these. We are just going to follow these. Does look like Glitch's mutas actually will chase that back. So many Banelings. I've always wanted to say that. So many drones dead. Oh, will he? Will he? Yes. Yes, he will. Alright. I'm afraid to look at this. 69 drone kills for Glitch, and a lot of lings coming in. No Banelings to actually clean this up. He might even get the natural. I believe... No, not quite. Might have wanted to go for the drones instead. Hindsight is 20/20, as always. But if you just shift-click on all those hurt drones with all those lings, they're going to go down so quick. And that might have been really the final blow, because look at just his lack of money on Imperative side. Glitch has not tried to retake this third. Does have a pack of mutas. They do have to be careful, though. They know that this pack is coming from that dead Overlord. Oh, you do not want to fight that. You do not want to fight that. He wants to fight that. But at the same time, he's distracting the mutas, coming in with a huge swell of lings again. Now the mineral line is completely shot. How many drones does he have left? He has 7. 7 drones to 21. And we are 23 minutes into this. Taking out the Baneling nest, that actually... If he produces... yeah, that didn't work. I think the idea there was he has so many minerals and so many lings that if he takes out the Baneling nest, Imperative is just going to have no way to stop that. Mutalisks are obviously good against Zerglings, but Zerglings will outrun the Mutalisks and can basically pin him into his base just with the threat of those counterattacks. On the other hand, I'm not sure if Glitch really has anything to stop all these Mutalisks. If Imperative just went in and just kind of attacked with all those mutas... Oh, the problem there is that these Zerglings really need to be dealt with, and as soon as Imperative goes in with the mutas, those Zerglings are going to counterattack and just start wrecking face. But really, just even split the mutas in half, have some back home to defend, some attacking that base, but oh, this could actually get ugly real quick. Lots of Zerglings trying to take down that lair. Does cancel the natural again. More Zerglings coming in. Chased back out by the mutas. That might just be a ruse, though. Imperative actually does think he's on, might be on more bases than he realizes. Or than he actually is, I should say. And he is, in fact, splitting up the mutas now. They really need to go do something, but I think he's way more focused on this base here. Takes out the main. Can he take out this macro hatch before these mutas actually can kill these lings? No, yes. Lings do take out the hatch. He has no hatcheries left. Then again, there's no Spore Crawler here to defend, which I think is a major especially with all those extra minerals. Just throw down a few spores. You know that pack of mutas is out there. Make a spore. More lings coming in. What structures does he actually have left? He has some Overlords here. Overlords here. Those aren't structures, obviously. Has a Baneling nest, 2 extractors, Spire, and a spawning pool. Is that really it? Is that all he has? That is all he has. If these lings can actually snipe what remains of this base, he just wins the game outright. Doesn't matter how many mutas he has or what kind of damage he's doing. It is now a base race, and those Zerglings are going to kill Imperator's base much faster. Oh, where are you going? Spawning pool down. Is getting so close. The Broodlings and the Mutalisk might just... They make it. It's safe. It's now off creep, though. So this spawning pool... That's a Mutalisk. That spawning pool is on a timer. So we're going to see if this pack of mutas can kill this base before that spawning pool expires. But there's an extractor coming up. The last drone... With literally, that was the last drone he could have made. He has no more minerals for anything else. That spawning pool is going to bleed out, but it doesn't matter. He had 80 minerals, built one drone, built an extractor, and that extractor is now the MVP of this game. Glitch has a base down here. He's completely out of money. He has one supply. That is his supply. That drone has quite a bit of work ahead of him. Mutalisk, there's nothing to stop them now. There goes the spawning pool. If it wasn't for that drone, he would have lost this game. That was razor thin end. Beautiful forethought by Imperative there. Great game, great ZVZ. And that was a long ZVZ. Wow, 29 minutes. Alright, that was more for fun and actually partially testing out sound because I want to see if the music blares out things. And crazy ZVZ, all caps. Got what was advertised. Alright, thanks for watching. And I really don't know what to say to actually close this out. So, bye? Yeah, I'll go with that. Bye.